Today is the 7th of May 2009 and we're doing one in a series of our centenary interviews with the ex-members of the school. Today we'd like to welcome Shane Duff. Welcome, Shane.
Thanks, Neil.
Okay, Shane, maybe just tell us about the early years before you came to Kogarah Marist, where you lived and grew up.
Well, I was a Sutherland Shire boy, grew up at Janelli actually, and went to St Joseph's at Como, Oyster Bay. Sport was a significant part of my life in those early years, and in coming to Kogarah Marist at the time, it was an exciting time, but quite nerve-wracking as well. I was the only student from my primary school to come here. I didn't know anybody, but I knew it had such a great tradition, and the sport was a major factor for that excitement that I had in coming to Kogarah Marist. So yeah, it was a difficult time, but an exciting one.
What year was that? Was that 1985?
1985,
yep.
Yeah. Was the year I got on the train at Janelli and headed over to Kogarah.
And who was your year? Can you remember the year coordinator from that year?
Yeah, Jared Dominish was our year coordinator. He was tremendous. I remember him being quite strict but very fair, and yeah, the early experiences in year 7 were fantastic, and met some great people early on, and forged friendships that last up until right now.
Yeah. Any teachers you sort of remember from those 5 years? I'm sure there were some.
Yeah, some great characters there. I remember one, Peter Skibberus was a great guy and an excellent teacher, and he generally gave us a hard time about certain things, and especially in regards to our football. We had Karen Rice, who was just a red and white Kogarah Marist through and through. It was running through her blood. She was fantastic, and it created an atmosphere around here that that gave us great pride in our school. Other teachers such as Greg Meehan, who was similar to Karen in that the red and white of Kogarah was so close and dear to him that rubbed off onto all of us, and instilled a great pride into our school. Brian Roberts was another one later on in year 11 and 12 that had a great impact here. Jeff Wright in the senior years, and other teachers like Peter McNamara that are here, and of course I remember our first principal, brother John O'Brien, who used to get up on the steps at assemblies and give us tremendous inspirational words prior to going off on Thursday to sport, and he was a great character.
Good. Any students you remember from? I'm sure there are students you remember from that time.
I remember the ones that normally give us a hard time or play some practical jokes, but guys like Jason Stevens, he developed his wedging technique, which he used quite extensively on the rugby league field here in the playground of Kogarah Marist, and you'd be sipping on your drink or having a bite of your apple, and before you know it, you're halfway. You're short to halfway up, and what Jason's has been able to do on the football field. He's quite a strong bloke and
big guy, yeah.
So guys like Jason Stevens, Matthew Tessiman was a great character, and Aaron Tippett, and all the guys' hairstyles at the time were so important to them, and David LaRusso, and there were some tremendous characters. And then of course we had the girls coming here 11 and 12, and that certainly changed the climate somewhat, and the boys who were a little bit prone to misbehaving for the first few days, it didn't take long, but for the first few days just became angels, and we didn't hear boo from them, but we soon became quite comfortable, and everyone got back into their usual
bad habits. Yeah. Okay, you leave school in 1990?
Yep.
So what's happened since?
Oh, it's been an interesting ride. I had some choices to make after school in regards to my sport, and I was playing first grade cricket with Sutherland, and also had the opportunity to play to get a contract with St George with rugby league. So I made a decision to stick with rugby league, and unfortunately got a serious irreparable shoulder injury. So that was the end of footy, and it took me a few years to get back into my cricket, but it's turned out to be excellent. I played first grade with Sutherland, then Bankstown. Had opportunities to play with guys like Glenn McGrath, Phil Jakes, Stuart McGill, played 2 games with Steve Waugh. So whilst that door of rugby league shut, you know, the doors of cricket created other opportunities for me, and probably my luckiest break was when John Dyson became coach of the Sri Lankan team and needed an assistant coach / strength and conditioner, and just so happened that I ended up in Sri Lanka for a year and a half working with him, and a tremendous experience working with guys like Murali and Kumar Sangakkara, Mahala Jayawardena, Sanath Jayasuriya. These guys are some of the best cricketers ever to have played the game. So I pinched myself a number of times when I was in that environment, and it was just a tremendous experience. Coming back post-tsunami, that was a period of time that was quite difficult. The tsunami hit Sri Lanka fairly savagely, but my contract ended after that, and back at home I coached Bankstown for a number of years, 3 years, and we won some premierships, and now I'm working in the Indian Cricket League with the Royal Bengal Tigers. Again, it's been a great experience. Professionally, I mean, that is my profession, but prior to that I did do a human movement degree. I did take up teaching as well. I spent 6 or 7 years at Aquinas College at Menai, and that led me to a job with the Catholic Education Office as a drug and alcohol advisor, and a couple of my mates thought that was quite funny, but I did my best with that one, and so I spent some years doing that, and then in between I've been off around the world doing my cricket thing. So it's been an interesting ride. And
it has, in a fairly short time.
In a short time, yeah.
Okay, sort of in summary, the effect that a lot of the ex-students have sort of said Kogarah was a great base for their working life, and it just gave them skills and attitudes. Would you agree that it gave you lots of sort of benefits, I suppose?
Absolutely, I 100% agree. And, you know, the values instilled here definitely have, along with my family of course, have definitely helped me throughout my working life and my personal life. You know, qualities such as respect and pride and loyalty are certainly things that I developed, that Kogarah Marist developed in me, and definitely have taken that on. And that spirit, that sense of spirit and willingness to do your best was something that was always driven into us here at school. And all those teachers that I've mentioned before, and other people such as Greg Meehan through our sport, you know, where everybody else, should I say, the team and the people around you are more important than an individual, so that took away that sense of selfishness and thinking of yourself only. And things like community, we had things like community service where we'd go off and do some work with the MS Society. I distinctly remember going to do that, and yeah, definitely instilled that selflessness attitude, as opposed to just being, you know, worried about what you're doing and
Sure.
and how the world can help you.
Sure. Okay. Well, thank you very much for giving us your time as
Thanks,
part of our series of interviews.
Pleasure.
Well done. Thank you.